Hello everyone, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel, and today I'm going to be going over my all-time picks from the one, the only DUBLOADZ. So we got the news last week that Dave Nardalili, aka DUBLOADZ, was ending the DUBLOADZ alias indefinitely for the foreseeable future at least. A project he said he'd struggled to get any happiness from for a long time, and which I suppose more importantly put him through hell. But as a producer who was very important in my enjoyment of bass music, and modern dubstep in particular of course, in my formative years as well, which I imagine was the case for many other people also, I thought it would be a good idea to celebrate his work in some way. Someone with a very identifiable style, you know, you think about the vocal samples, the colour and liveliness of his sound, the vocal features as well, each tune kind of having its own personality and character, if you will, especially in the earlier part of his career, I would say. The artwork as well though, you know, which became a staple part of his overall aesthetic. He gave so much to the scene as a musician, and so here, just gonna go over my all-time picks from him. The tunes of his I've enjoyed most from his 7-year stint as DUBLOADZ, you know, no particular order here, gonna say a little bit about each, with the tunes playing underneath. So yeah, let's go. First here, I'm going to talk about the oldest tune here in terms of when it was put out, and that is Can of Worms with Axel Boy. I played this song in the first Underrated Bass Bangers volume a short while ago, and yeah, it is exactly that, a quite amazing banger that hasn't quite got the appreciation it deserves, you know, maybe because he put it out before he was with a label, Disciple, whoever before. But yeah, that's probably the reason. But yeah, extremely bubbly, wild, off the wall, exuberant, and with that cheeky, classic DUBLOADZ menace, you know, lying just beneath. Loads of energy and exceptionally well put together and assembled. The first I'd really heard of him, that album it came from, and this one in particular did blow me away. And I knew with this song he'd be an artist I'd be getting into a lot from there. I will link the Underrated Bass Bangers Volume 1 here if you haven't heard the track in full. And yeah, that includes a reaction to it from yours truly. Next up, from one collab to another, he wasn't the main artist here, but he did play a big part in this tune, a fantastic one at that, and that is Juices with Virtual Riot. Another one of incredible energy here, and again, sharply assembled, and a lot of very memorable aspects to it. You know, the main refrain, if you want to call it that bo 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 bo. Also, hot damn ho, here we go again. And also, beyond that, sounds like Terror Squad. You know, a lot of very memorable little motifs in here. Most of all the drops though, I would have to say, which are such clear concoctions of their styles, the mix of dubstep approaches, the different types of percussion on show, the vocal samples as well, as I just mentioned. Just such a pure blend, and it did the title of that Virtual Riot EP, Chemistry Justice, I think. After that, the first solo instrumental here, one that I would say is maybe DUBLOADZ at his gnarliest and most full-on, which is quite saying something, I think, and that is Cuck Life with Critchy Critch on the vocals. I was kind of torn between picking Solar Sheep and Cuck Life from the Cuck Life EP. Completely different, but both great, I think. And whilst I would say that Solar Sheep is sonically far sharper and cleaner on the production front, there's something about the relationship between Critchy Critch's vocals and DUBLOADZ's music that works so well. So much flavour here, braggadocious in a good way, I would say. The production isn't great on reflection, you know, having heard it again just now, but that combo between vocal and music is just top draw. Following that, I'm going to talk about a whole project here. For me, his most impressive one by far, and from which I struggle to pick just one track, which tells you how much I enjoy it, and that is his Lost in the Source EP. Arrived a few months before Cuck Life and gave the first taste of DUBLOADZ and Critchy Critch, which I find even better than Cuck Life. The title track there, that would be. Got a brilliant collab with Tramper, loads of colour and invention on tracks like Frogger, and the first significant taste, I think, of DUBLOADZ house with What's Poppin'. So a lot going for it, you know, the production wasn't amazing, across the board, but importantly, it's a lot of fun, and it sounds like he was in his element most with that EP. On the subject of DUBLOADZ house, got to shout out Hungry Hippos with Dodge and Fusky, another fantastic collaboration involving him. I wasn't massive on most of his individual house stuff, but this one just hits in all the right spots in such a neat and compact way. The production's good, it's a simple and impactful idea, to the point, and the vocal sample is great as well. And as I said, you know, didn't make much of his solo house stuff, but this one more than made up for it for me. It was one of my favourites of 2018 overall. Then, on the topic of experimentation, I'm going to shout out Salt and Pepper from him as well. That's 2 tunes, not 1, Salt and Pepper. A couple tunes that, whilst I didn't love either, and still don't, it was great to hear at the time his style unleashed in another different way, I would say, taking his sound down the deep dub route, or deeper dub route, not completely deep dub, but definitely deeper for him, still packed with evil and grimace, but more controlled and toned down, if you get me. Sometimes the results just don't come off when you try something new, but you do have to laud and respect when a producer goes beyond their norm and, yeah, tries out something new. Moving on, my favourite remix from him, and one I imagine not many will have heard of, because it came out to my knowledge before him being with Disciple, and before him being a bigger, better known, more well-known dubstep producer, I would say, and that is his take on Yasuo. Basically, just imagine Yasuo with a load of DUBLOADZ stamped all over it, and that is exactly what you get here. Not particularly wild or mad, but full of wonk and really good vocal samples. Worth listening to, I would say, for the introduction alone, you know, very, very funny stuff. Really well cut, sharp production, and made me enjoy the original even more, which in many ways is what a remix should do. And yeah, was and is a very good tribute to it. And ultimately here, a tune that is right up there with my favourites from him. Another collab, and that is Fuckwit with Spaghetti. The more full-throttle version of DUBLOADZ here, I would say. Less colour, more ferociousness, but still very upbeat and on its feet, and with the added playfulness and incisiveness of Spaghetti. It really was a match made in heaven. The vocal sampling from them both as well, lobbed into that, just such a good duo, the way their styles kind of played off one another. Another that I feel deserves far more credit than it's gotten, because it's rare that you get dubstep collabs that actually work, and this is one of them. And finally, the most recent tune of his I'm going to be mentioning here. Little surprise, it's a collaboration, and to finish here, I'm going to be talking about Grease with G-Rex, which I first heard at Lost Lands 2018 in a back-to-back that DUBLOADZ did with Spaghetti, actually, funnily enough, and it grabbed me straight away. The main hook in the drops, that kind of do, and again, just the overall fun of it. As a combination of sounds, it really stood out to me in their set, even though I'd never heard it. And it lived up to it as well when it eventually came out in the April just gone. A reflection of their combined styles, a good mix of grunge and colour. I love the way it kind of continually winds up and down. And the closest we got, I think, to him reenacting his old self in the latter part of his DUBLOADZ career. It kind of stands as a reminder of why and how I got into his music so much. So, yeah, proper DUBLOADZ right here. But yeah, there we have it, my all-time DUBLOADZ picks. Quite sad, really. Probably the last time I'm going to be talking about him and his music on the channel. But I hope you enjoyed the video and that it stood as a good celebration of him and his music. But now, of course, I want to know of your favourites and your own relationship and experience of him and his music. Which tunes are your favourites from him, and what are your opinions of, you know, him and his music over the years? I want to know it all. Drop all of your views, thoughts, opinions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell along the way so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video to the channel, and my social media accounts are linked below if you want to find them. But beyond that, keep it naughty. If it's naughty, then you know. And I will see all of you legends in the next one. Long live DUBLOADZ. Peace out.